Cameroonians, both home and abroad, you've probably heard about the arrest of Ayaba Cho. This evening, I came into your space so we can have a conversation. A conversation about your destiny. A conversation about your children. A conversation about your children's children. A conversation about your country. A conversation about your existence. I would love to start this conversation tonight with a quote from Elon Musk. He said, "An eye for an eye keeps everyone blind."
Roland Fru, founder of CSDP, Cameroon Sustainable Development Project. You have taught us the true meaning of hard work and determination. You have taught us how to believe in ourselves. You are one of the pride, the lives of the youth of Cameroon. You are an inspiration to our generation. We love you, Mr. Roland Fru.
What change starts when we know and embrace our history. An eye for an eye keeps everyone blind. I want to be honest with us from the depth of my heart, because I believe with utmost certainty that God called me for this nation for a time such as this. Everything I've been sharing on this channel has a purpose as to why we exist as a people. You've heard that Ayaba Cho has been arrested in Norway by the Norwegian government. Reasons we are yet to know. But I'm sure this sends a strong message across the entire nation, in particular, English-speaking Cameroonians. We have been set on this train of thought as to how we want to achieve the things that we want in life. And I want to be realistic as much as possible tonight with you. Truth be told, if I was in Cameroon, living in the northwest region, given the information that we have available about our current situation, I would have been an Amba myself. I would have been a fierce one, like the young man that you see out there holding guns. I would have been one of them, given the information that they have. If I was working for the government as a soldier, I would have picked up gun as well to fight, to defend the territory. The Ambazonia boys, or the young men from the Anglophone zone who have picked up guns to fight this war for 7 to 8 years, I want to say, you have proven to the entire nation, to your parents, that you are brave men. That if there was an existential crisis, you will rise up to the challenge. That is what you have been able to prove for this 7 to 8 years. I applaud your courage and your bravery. All the military soldiers in Cameroon, you are brave men. You have proven beyond reasonable doubt that if there was an internal threat or an external threat in the nation, you will rise up to the challenge. And that is exactly what you have demonstrated for the past 7 to 8 years. Stay with me, we are going somewhere. So what is my point? If I was an Ambazonia young man who sees the injustice in the country, who has no hope for the future, who has been bribed or paid to fight, I would have done the same. And if I was in the military, I would have picked up a gun and stood up to the challenge. If I was a Francophone, I would have behaved exactly the same way the Francophones are behaving. If I was an Anglophone, I would have acted the same way the Anglophones are acting. I understand. The point is, if you truly want to understand another, you have to get into their shoes. And you cannot wear their shoes while putting on your shoes. You have to take off your shoes so that you can fit in your feet into their shoes to understand what they are going through. What I have been articulating on this platform is coming from the perspective of someone that has taken off his shoes, put my feet into the shoes of the Anglophones, the Francophones, the Ambazonians, the military, the government, so that I can have perspective and provide a long-lasting solution that is sustainable. Are you tracking? This is where true transformation begins. When you get to the place where you are able to set your own opinion, your own perspective, group thinking on the side, and be able to reason from the standpoint of the other party. That is where real freedom begins. I will read a couple of quotes from Cicero, one of the greatest orators that ever walked the face of the earth. And it will serve as an inspiration. So even if as you stay back and meditate, as you sit back in your quiet time and you're thinking about all that has happened in the past 7 to 8 years, I would like for you to reflect on your own life. What our organization aims to offer is based on in-depth studies inspired by God to bring perspective to every party involved in the crisis that our nation has been dealing with for the past 7 to 8 years. That is what CSDP aims to offer. We are not just an organization that was created to help IDPs. This organization was created to preserve the peace in the nation, to unite the nation, and to present a developmental project that can serve as the substratum for us to achieve everything that we have ever wanted. That is, every young man or woman in the country can be able to have a good life if they work on something practical that can give them tangible results. We have been told that the current government is the problem. And that is what we heard our entire life growing up, that the current government is the problem. Now, the thing is, if we get rid of this current government, create our own government, or split away from the country, create our own government, then the new government that we will create will solve all the problems that we are dealing with. That perspective might sound good, but at the end of the day, which government on earth, look at the greatest nations on earth, which government actually controls every activity that ensures that the citizens of that nation is well taken care of? There's none. If you look at the United States of America, the greatest individuals in this country are businessmen who rose up, came up with great ideas, products, and services to serve their fellow citizens. And in that process, they became rich and changed the conditions of other citizens. That strategy is self-empowering. That strategy has proven to work over time. That is why you hear the idea of privatization has been so prevalent. And I think we are just getting into it in Cameroon and in other African countries. But privatization is a big concept right now, even in the field of finance. And what does that mean? That simply means government, they are selling those sectors of the economy that they had control over to someone in the private sector so they can manage it. Why? Because it is effective that way. That is indirectly telling you that the private sector has the incentive to transform an economy more than the government. Are you tracking? Creating a government with the hope that that government will relieve you out of your condition is a lofty idea. I want to be very practical and realistic, because seeing a young man lose their lives breaks my heart. For whatever reason, given the information we have at our disposal, the tools, the opportunities that we have, both nationally and internationally in this dispensation, and we are talking about government talk, it breaks my heart. Because I know where all of this will end. If you study, if you embed yourself in books, you embed yourself in timeless wisdom, you will have perspective really quick. And some of you might not have the time to study, and that is why I take the time to break down what I have studied by applying it to our current situation so we can have perspective, so that you can be empowered. That is what Ninjom Frundi stood for. When you hear SDF, it was power to the people. You have the power. It is not just a slogan. I know Ninjom Frundi did not came up with that phrase originally, but that phrase has been used globally before Ninjom Frundi adopted it, and it's power to the people, empowerment. That is what I stand for. So I'm confused when people throw comments or insults in the comment section towards me because they don't understand what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating for you to be empowered to be in charge of your life in spite of who is president. Are you tracking? When all your leaders or soldiers that you trusted and hoped that they would take you to that finish line are locked up or dead, then you will rise up to the message that I'm sharing with you here. I do not put my hand on anything that I have not thought about it properly. In the next 20 years, what I'm sharing here is going to be valid. In the next 100 years, what I'm sharing here is going to be valid. Your children and your children's children are going to build a sustainable future based on these timeless principles. Looking at what our nation has gone through, France, our colonial master, were colonized themselves by Rome. I'm sure you don't know that. Britain, one of our colonial masters, was colonized by Rome themselves. They got their independence from Rome. And they were able to build their economy. The question is, how did they do that? America was once a colony of Britain. They got their independence and they were able to achieve enormous prosperity. Today, they are the richest nation on earth. How did they do that? Today, they tell you La République is your colonial master. That is downgrading you. That is limiting you psychologically. What I'm offering you is empowerment. No one has that jurisdiction or power over your life except the one that you give them. I was born in the same region like you. I believed what you believed. I said the things you are saying right now. But what changed for me? New information. That is why books have to be your friends. Having great mentors in your life is essential for your well-being. Choosing the path less traveled will take you far in life than following what everybody else is doing, saying what everybody else is saying, thinking the same way everybody else around you is thinking will lead you nowhere. Cicero said, "It is better for you to live in peace in the most unfair environment than be in a condition like the one we find ourselves in, called a righteous war." And I want to read that phrase directly as he put it. He said, "I prefer the most unfair peace to the most righteous war." I prefer the most unfair peace to the most righteous war. He said, the more honest men are, the less he suspects others of dishonesty. Are you understanding that? The more honest you are, the less you will suspect others of dishonesty. Some people will attack what I'm saying here because of how corrupt and dishonest they are. But when I look at you, when I look at every Cameroonian, when I look at every Anglophone, all I see is hope. I see a bright future in spite of what we are going through right now. If you like this video and you want to watch another one, click right here. If you want to watch the entire video, click right here. If you like this video and you want to watch another one, click right here. If you want to watch the entire video, click right here.